Hi everyone, Shane Monroe here. Today, what you've been asking for, I'm going to replace the SSD drive in my 256 gigabyte Steam Deck with the brand new 1 terabyte Sabrent Rocket, just released, made for Steam Deck, supposed to have some performance increases. We're going to take the thing apart, we're going to replace the drive, we're going to run benchmarks, and I'm going to show you how to take your old drive, put it in an enclosure, and access all of that old data. All of this is coming up, so stick around. Okay, so we're ready to get started. I have everything that I need. I have a pair of tweezers. I have a number 2 screwdriver Phillips. I've got a device to crack open the case. I have my new drive. And I've got some cups here to hold my different screw types. I think I'm ready to go. So the Steam Deck is shut down. I'm going to eject my micro SD card. Must remember, put that in one of my little cups, and I'm ready to get started. On the back, we have a total of 8 screws, 4 on the inside. And let me move this up a little bit, get the light good. We have a total of 4 on the outside and 4 on the inside. I'm using a number 2. I have a couple of other screwdrivers handy because these screws are very delicate. They're easy to strip, and once you strip them, you're pretty much done, right? The video's over. So we're going to get started. We're going to do the inside ones first. I'm going to go ahead and apply pressure. This is a jeweler screwdriver, so I can apply pressure and turn at the same time. I'm taking it nice and easy. The last thing I'm going to do is try to strip these guys out. So I'm trying to do this quickly, but efficiently. Okay, so it's nice pressure, nice easy turn. Great. Coming out nicely so far. It's worked so far, but we're not out yet. If I sing anymore, I'll probably get YouTube copyright. Okay, so I'm going to get these 4 out of here. Hope it doesn't hurt to have a magnetic screwdriver too. Hook that. Oops. Lost it. There we go. I'm sure you guys can see. Sorry. Nice and easy. Good. Good. They're coming out. Yeah, I don't think I would want to open this more than a couple of times at best. So hopefully this will be my last voyage into opening this thing. Nice and easy. There's a real art to not stripping fine screws. There's a matter of pressure versus, the turning torque and all this other stuff. I'm sure there's a formula somewhere. Okay, so these are longer. The outside screws are longer, which is why I have these little cups here to hold different sizes. See, this one's a little squirrely. I don't like this. It doesn't feel very sturdy. Okay, I'm going to go down to this one. Okay, so this one's turning. Yeah, okay, this one's going. I don't like this one. This one's starting to make me feel a little sketchy. Okay, so now I've got 2. Okay, this one's going to go. Okay, we're in good shape. This last one's freaking me out a little bit. I'm going to use a slightly different tip. Get it started. I don't like it at all. It's not behaving. Take a quick look in there. If I strip this, it's not coming open. Boy, it does not want to turn at all. I'm going to get a different head. So you'll want to have probably at least some sort of a tool set. I've got a handful of different type items. I'm going to go like one size bigger. Okay. I don't know if it's turning or if I stripped it. Okay, it's turning. Whew. Okay. Madness is over. The hard part is done. Okay. So the next thing we'll want to do is, starting on the right side, we're going to want to go ahead and pop this case open. So I'm going to do what I can. Inside of here, I'm going to do my best to get it on both cameras. There's a clip. I got some dirt or something in here too. That you have to get in here. Let's see, is it getting on that? Okay. I don't even know what that crap was. It's nasty though. So I'm going to try to separate this. This isn't looking good. This might be too thick. I do have a couple of other prying devices, so let me grab those. Always good to be prepared. Have another tool kit. And again, you know, it's one of those things where you've never done it before, so you don't know how it's going to react. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get this in here. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Okay, I've got the lip in here. I don't know what this crap is in here. Someone's going to say something, though. There we go. I think I got one. There we go. There's another one. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's coming. There we go. Okay. Let's turn it over. Let's see. I'm going to try to be nice to this thing as I can. Okay. There should be a few clips, and we'll take a better look at these clips here in just a second. Okay, there we go. They're coming. All right, perfect. Okay, so this is the bottom, and the bottom has no real clips in here. It's got little clip holders. We'll move that to the side. You can see here, aside from the grossness that somehow is in there, we do have, ugh, so I should clean this thing. I'm going to get notes. Here's the clips themselves, 1 and 2. And then there's a clip here. A couple clips on the side. Okay, well, we don't really have to get into great detail here. Okay, great. So the next thing we're going to need to do is we have to get this shielding off. Make sure I've got the camera in a good spot here. We're going to get this shielding off. In order to do that, let me get comfortable again. We're going to go ahead, pull this foil back just a little bit to expose that screw. Okay, I'm going to go back to my 2.0. So we have a screw here, we have a screw here, and we have a screw here. So let's start at the top. Boy, this one doesn't want to go either. Let me start down here. I'm going to need something a little, let me change to this one. Okay, this one's coming. Just have to put a lot of pressure down to get a hold of it. Okay, so here's this one. Okay, drop that in there. I am not a professional. I definitely don't do this for a living, obviously. Okay, there we go. Got the bite on that one. My biggest fear is stripping one of these screws. Okay, and then the third one. Good pressure. That's really the key here. Good downward pressure. Okay, perfect. Oh, there's that other screw. See, Chris, you're not the only one that forgets stuff. All right, so, whoops. It's hard to get good pressure here. There we go. I took the thing off, but didn't take the screw out, so there we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Boy, it sure comes off a lot easier now, right? Okay, so here we have the battery, which will need to be disconnected, and then we have our built-in SSD. So let's go ahead and see if we can pull this guy out. It should go nice and easy. I could probably use this little tool here to get it out. Don't want to put too much torque on here. Let me see here. Wiggle it a little. Again, I'm going to be careful. Little that side, little wiggle, 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 wiggle. There we go. And she's out. Oh, it's stuck to the battery. Okay, I didn't really notice that in the other videos. Okay, so the battery's out. I'm now going to press the power button to discharge any power that's left in the system. Okay, clicked it a couple times. We should be good. All right, so last but not least, we're ready to take out the drive. Again, nice, firm, but gentle. We'll take this screw out, put it with my SD card, and here we go. Here's the drive itself. Wiggle her out. There she is. Okay. There's some metal shielding around it, which we're going to want to slide off. So you'll notice that the U shape of this is in the back. So when we put our new drive in, we're going to want to put this back the exact same way. I'm going to slide this guy off. I'm going to put it right into the position it needs to be. And this is what we're replacing. Okay, so let's break out this Sabrent 1 terabyte Rocket drive. This is brand new. They just started shipping here in January, and everybody was really excited because it's sort of like the first dedicated to Steam Deck, or, you know, it mentions Steam Deck in the description at least. So I was very excited to be able to try one of these and test them out for you. Now, putting this tinfoil sheet back on, I mean, it's thick, it doesn't actually tinfoil, it's very difficult, and you can see me struggling to get this thing in. I tried it from both sides, and frankly, I was a little afraid I was going to tear it as I put the thing in. So you want to be very careful. It can be done. Obviously, it can be done. Some people have said that they cut it. They cut it a little bit to get it in. I chose not to do that. I sat here and wrestled with it, and I'm not cutting any of this out, so you can see I finally get it through just a little bit, but I swear it's going to tear. I swear it's going to tear. And then I figured out probably the best way to do it. Once you've got the sleeve started, put the butt of the drive down on the desk and kind of slide it on. See, it doesn't really slide on while you're gripping it like that. But if you were to put it down on the table and put the pressure on there, it slides right in. Yes. So you can see my struggle and my final solution here. Okay, now that it's on and it's not broken, it's not torn, it's not ripped, let's go ahead and slide that drive back in, and we'll go ahead and screw it down. Once again, with putting screws back in, you want to be very careful. Hand tight, that's what you're looking for. You're not looking to over torque these things. Hand tight is what you're looking for. We're going to go ahead and put the battery back on now, which is actually kind of a challenge because the braid, or the little grip thing there that's on the battery, is actually taped to the battery itself, so there's not a lot of wiggle room. So using a pair of tweezers, I kind of put it into place, and then I went ahead and used my fingers to slide it all the way in. It is a little bit tricky, so take your time, don't force it, plug it in. Now you see the light just came on? That's a good indicator that you got the battery plugged in. Put it on your checklist. That little light came on when I attached the battery. We know it's good. So let's go ahead and put this shielding back on. This should fit like a glove. It shouldn't bulge. It shouldn't be being pushed out. Everything should go on well. We're going to put this one underneath the little foil tape there first. Again, we're going to use hand tight. We're not going to over compress it. Then we have 3 more little screws to put on. These were probably the most challenging to put back on. Again, we're going to finger tight them. We're not going to overdo them. Again, these guys are pretty small. I mean, they're big on camera, but they're tiny to work with. And then there's one more that the video got clipped out, and right there's the 4th one. I did actually put that in, as you can see here, before I put the back on. Sorry for that little issue. All right, this thing clicks right on. You'll feel very satisfying clicks as it goes on. You'll be able to see it as it clicks in. Everything looks great, and I'm truly amazed at how well this thing stays together without the screws in it. I did check to make sure that the triggers and everything moved freely, but before we screw everything back in, let's go ahead and re-image the drive. I put that Steam image onto that flash drive, and we're going to power up while holding down the left volume. Normally speaking, when you hear the beep sound of the deck coming on, you can release the button, but since I didn't really hear anything when I turned it on, I'm holding it down until such time as I think that it's working. There we go. It was a little sketchy there for a minute. Choose the only drive that's available, which is the flash drive, and we let it boot. I figured we'll go ahead and let this thing image prior to screwing everything down. We'll put the screws in later off camera. But again, be careful, be cautious, hand tight at best, because you might have to get in here again at some point, and you don't want to have to fight those screws again. So after a moment or two, you'll have a series of icons available here on the desktop. One of them says Reimage Steam Deck. Reimage Steam Deck, that's what you want. Reimage Steam Deck, Reimage Steam Deck, Reimage Steam Deck. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and time compress this. I'm going to put actual time here so that you guys can see. It's not fully unattended, so you do need to come back and occasionally push buttons. So make sure that you're doing that to hit the proceeds and whatnot. Now, there is a couple of times that there were errors that happened during this whole process, and I left those in there so that you could see them. Part of this could have had to do with the fact that I lost internet. Thank you, Cox Communications, for trashing my video by disallowing me internet access. Obviously, I could get to my Wi-Fi access point, but I was having some problems getting out. And you will see occasionally there's a hang, and you may or may not experience that, but I wanted you guys to have full access to everything that I saw that happened on my system without clipping anything out. So I'm sorry that these areas run a little bit long. Okay, this actually just hung, and so I had to go ahead and back out and do it again. Was this my internet? I don't know. But I wanted you guys to see that this did seem to hang with no indication of any sort of progress. I went ahead and hit back and did it again, and as you can see, we're going through the process once more, and we'll see how it works this time. Don't panic, be calm, don't reboot unless you have to, or unless it does it by itself. You should be okay. Now we're having this last step with a little update. It's extracting the package, installing an update, and my internet is totally dead at this point. So we'll sign in a moment. Okay, so originally the goal of this tutorial was to also show you how to clone this drive after you pull it out and then write the image back to the 1 terabyte drive. Unfortunately, the reader I had at the time of the initial shoot failed. So I could not image this in a timely manner, so I just went ahead and put in the 1 terabyte fresh and set it up from scratch. That doesn't mean, though, that I can't get the data off of here. I've got shader caches for Overwatch 2. I've got some other installed stuff that might be useful to have off of here. So I have a working one now, and I'll post a link to the description below, one that I know actually works for this particular drive. I'm going to go ahead and click him in there. And now I have a ready-to-go USB-C drive that I can now connect up to my deck and copy files off of. So let's go over there and try that out now. All right, so now we're on our desktop on the Steam Deck. I'm going to plug in that external drive that has my old 256 gigabyte internal storage on it. And you'll see that a Disks and Devices window pops up, and you can see all of the devices that are still on that hard drive. Now, the only one that any of us really care about is Home, because that's where all the stuff is that was stored. So if we hit Mount and Open, you will now see a new Home location here that now shows our old file system from our old internal storage. Swap files here, the one that I had previously, and if you open up Deck, you'll see all of the files and folders that you used to have on your internal storage. Now, what you do with this information vastly depends on what your needs are. For many of us, we might want to jump into Local and Share, and jump into the Steam and Steam Apps folder, and go into Compat Data. This is where all of our old Compat Data folders were that have all of our Proton prefix information. For example, if you had a non-Steam game like you see here, and that game had saves that were not sent up to the cloud, you could go digging into this folder and maybe find those saves and transfer them over to the corresponding new Compat Data folder that you recreated for the new item. Also, of course, for many of us, shader caches, such as maybe the ones you built for Overwatch 2 that are 6 to 8 gigabytes in size, you'd rather not spend another 100 hours trying to recreate those. So, for example, we may want to find the shader caches for Overwatch 2. That could be tricky if we don't remember which Proton prefix we were using prior to. The Steam IDs change every single time. If I were to run Proton Tricks, which if you don't have that installed, you should, Overwatch 2 on my new drive, I've already installed it, is this Steam ID. It's obviously different than what the Steam ID was the last time. So how am I going to find that? That's kind of up to you. There's really no way to figure it out unless you happen to know the file sizes. I will be able to figure out which one of these holds Overwatch because, well, the only one I have that's going to be about 6.8 gigabytes, which was the last file size that I saw. So we'll open up the shader caches on our new system over here. I'll find the new folder, which Proton Tricks, of course, told us is 3.4. These are the shader caches for this Steam ID, which happens to be, as you recall from Proton Tricks, this is my new Overwatch. So what I would have to do essentially is dig inside each one of these, or in this case, I'll simply look at the properties to get a file size. That's 5.8 megabytes. That's probably not it. 20? Nope, that's not it. 3 megabytes, that's not it. 10 gigabytes, that could be it. Or it could be one of my other games. Hard to say. Point is, you should probably run Proton Tricks on your existing internal drive before you replace it and get a list of all of these prefixes. My guess is this 6.3 gigabytes is probably the right one. So do your work ahead of time. Make sure that you get a list of all your non-Steam Proton folders before you change out your drive. That's going to help you out immensely. If nothing else, write them down. I mean, you shouldn't have that many going on anyway. And again, Proton Tricks is your best friend. This can be installed from the Discover store. So you definitely want to have access to that data. At this point on, every use case is going to be different. Just know that you can get access to all of that old save data, old emulation station configurations, side-loaded emulators such as Daphne or one of the other unusual ones, things that you had in your downloads folder. There's tons of things that you may still want to pull off of that drive, which you can by simply having a small external enclosure that you can pop that old drive into from time to time and get your files off. All right, I did promise us some disk marking, so let's go ahead and go to the Discover store. We're going to search for KDisk, and that's going to give us KDisk mark. We're going to install that, and we're going to benchmark this drive, and then I'm going to show you the numbers I got from the original 256 gigabyte drive that I had inside. And we're going to run all tests. It's going to make a temp file inside of home deck. That's okay. And it will run. Now this will take a little while, so we'll speed it up, and you can take a look at what the numbers look like from this drive. Now you can run this KDisk mark against your SD card, against your internal drive, external drives, so you can get a real sense of where the speeds and the bottlenecks may be in your system. Okay, and here are the results of our benchmark. And let's throw up now our 256 gigabyte benchmarks. Holy crap, this drive is kicking the butt of the OEM drive. Look at the difference in the read speeds. Unbelievable. In some cases, unbelievable no matter how you look at it. Look at the write speeds. Increases across all types of writes. In some cases, astronomically speaking, such as in sequential writes. So this is a really good way to test performances of your storage devices and see where those things may have been. All right, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell, leave a comment. What did you like? What did you not like? This channel is for you. Wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Shane R. Monroe. As always, we'll see you next time. Take care.